Bye.
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 I'm Katie Uhlmann reporting for Katie Chats at the 2015-2016 season preview for CBC. I'm here with Dale Curd, the host of Hello Goodbye. How does it feel to have Hello Goodbye on CBC?
Wow, that's a great question. I feel great. I feel like it's finally time to have this kind of show on CBC. I mean, I think it's such a human show, such a universal show about love and relationships and life that it's perfect timing for CBC and certainly for now. I think we need that. I think we need a show that has a lot of hope in it and on the CBC right now. So I think that's great. Yeah.
And in your regular life, in your normal person life, you're also in your normal life, you're also
This is not normal.
No. You know what I mean. You're a psychotherapist.
I am.
So, and you've been called, I believe it's the man who knows men, or you specialize in
I
men's.
specialize in working with guys, so I definitely have this handle that I know what men are thinking and why they think the way they think. Do you have a question for me about a guy?
I have a crush on this guy. No, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about doing the show at Pearson and seeing people when they're saying their hellos and their goodbyes, and how many of those things are maybe romantic stories versus what you expect to see.
That's a great question. The thing about I find the thing about talking to people about why they're at the airport, so why they're saying goodbye or why they're waiting for somebody, is that it's so spontaneous. It's so in the moment. So I never really know what's going to come out. I don't have a sense of what the backstory is and why they're there and why it's important for them to be there. So it's one of those things that I kind of have to surrender that sense of, oh, I think I know what's going on here, and really just kind of get into a conversation with the person, which is really hard for me. I got to tell you, even though it's what I do for a living, I'm actually an introvert. I'm just an introvert who happens to be, not so bad at conversation. So for me to sort of sit beside someone or stand beside someone and ask them some questions that are, say, intimate or revealing, but not in an exploitive kind of way, in a I really want to know kind of way, because I'm curious just as they're curious. I'm curious about myself and what's true for me in life, and I really want to know what's true for other people about how they experience life. And I think that's what Hello Goodbye really showcases.
Absolutely. And have you had any experiences at airports in particular that were especially great or bad? I don't know, maybe you've lost your luggage. I have, but
No, not at airports. Let me just think. That's a great question too. Not for me personally. I have, uh, travel for me is interesting because I came to this country in the early '60s from England. So for me, travel has been a big part of my life, and it's defined me. Coming to Canada really was a big achievement for our family. And so airports to me are very, very special places because they are where families make big transitions like ours did or like mine did. So, for me, uh, airports are very special. I get the same kind of feeling at train stations. I just love they're just places where human moments really like just happen. They're like popcorn. They just happen all over the place.
absolutely. And speaking of immigration, I suppose Canada being a country built, we're all immigrants at some point, most of us except for the natives, obviously. But how do you think Canadians are going to, respond to this show, and what makes CBC such a perfect home for it, encompassing that cultural aspect?
Well, I see the CBC for me. It's what I've grown up with. So for me, as a new Canadian in the early '60s, albeit a child, I had no idea what Canada was all about, and I got informed about what being Canadian is, and through the CBC, through the programming, through the documentaries, through radio, and so I'm a full-on CBC junkie. I love my CBC. And I think that's true in my experience of a lot of people who come to this country to set up a life for themselves. I think the CBC becomes a keystone for them in terms of really understanding what it is to be Canadian and how they can add to that for themselves and what they can enrich in terms of the Canadian experience being. So, and again, you see that at the airport. I see people at the airport who are coming here to start a new life, or they've already started and now they're bringing their family back together, so that they can all have this incredible experience. So I think it's perfect for the CBC because the CBC is that portal, just like an airport is that portal.
Absolutely. Great. Well, thank you so much,
Oh, you're
and
welcome.
congrats on the show. And where's the best place for us to find out more information on the show online?
So on Twitter, it's at hello goodbye at CBC hello goodbye, and Facebook is hello goodbye.
Great. Well, thanks again, and goodbye.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.
Take care.
I'm Katie Uhlmann reporting for Katie Chats at CBC in Toronto. Thank you so much for watching Katie Chats. If you like the show, please subscribe. And if you're curious to know what I'm doing when I'm not interviewing, please click here. I'm also an actress and recently produced my first short film and would love for you to check out the trailer. Thank you.